Thoth's apocalyptic prophecy about the Dark Ages to come from the Hermetic texts in our modern world, teeming with technological marvels and dazzling progress, we might find ourselves standing at an unexpected crossroads, eerily foretold in ancient texts. Stripped of our connection to the sacred, and increasingly alienated from nature and each other, we can't help but wonder, are we living Thoth's apocalyptic prophecy about the Dark Ages to come, that given to humanity thousands of years ago in the Hermetic texts and more specifically, the Lament of Hermes? What was this dark prophecy? How is it relevant to our modern world? What lessons can we learn from this ancient wisdom that can illuminate our path forward? We'll find out in the new episode of Hidden Origins. Welcome! Hermes was the Greek version of the ancient Egyptian god Thoth, and the Romans knew him as Mercury. These cultures saw Hermes as a key figure in their mythology, a source of wisdom passed down through dialogues and texts known as the Hermetica. In the Hermetica, many of the dialogues are between Thoth, Hermes, and various pupils of his. In one dialogue called the Asclepius, a lament is presented. It's like a prophecy. The Asclepius, a lament is presented. It's like a prophecy, similar to the Mayan prophecy, one that seems to echo through time, presenting itself as a metaphor for our world. This lament prophesied that there will come a time when Egypt, which is an image of heaven reflecting the divine operations at work in the cosmos, will be forsaken. The gods will return to heaven, in the cosmos will be forsaken. The gods will return to heaven, leaving the once holy land desolate, bereft of their presence. But if we assume that Egypt is also used as a metaphor for the whole planet, then the prophecy seems quite disturbing, especially if we use it to analyze our world nowadays. In this profound dialogue, Hermes delivers a solemn warning about a time when humanity will lose its reverence for the natural world, succumb to moral decay, and become a plaything of destructive forces. Strikingly, many aspects of this ancient prophecy seem to resonate with our contemporary reality, raising unsettling questions about our spiritual disconnection, environmental crises, societal conflicts, and the overall direction of our civilization. So, with this intro, let's now see what exactly the prophecy says. The lament begins with the following sentences. Do you know, Asclepius, that Egypt is an image of heaven? Or to speak more exactly, in Egypt all the operations of the powers which rule and work in heaven are present in the earth below. In fact, it should be said that the whole cosmos dwells in this our land, as in a sanctuary. And yet, since it is fitting that wise men should have knowledge of all events before they come to pass, they must not be left in ignorance of what I will now tell you. There will come a time when it will have been in vain Egyptians have honored the Godhead with heartfelt piety and service, and all our holy worship will be fruitless and ineffectual. The gods will return from earth to heaven, Egypt will be forsaken, and the land which was once the home of religion will be left desolate, bereft of the presence of its deities. O Egypt, Egypt, of thy religion nothing will remain but an empty tale, which thine own children in time to come will not believe. Nothing will be left but graven words, and only the stones will tell of thy piety. And in that day men will be weary of life, and they will cease to think the universe worthy of reverent wonder and worship. In a way, it suggests that Egypt's profound religious devotion will become nothing more than an empty tale, a folklore that even its future generations will fail to believe. The echoes of its piety will be etched only on stones, and the reverence for life will wane. The world, once a glorious structure crafted by divine hands, will no longer be loved or wondered at. Darkness will overshadow light. Death will be seen as preferable to life. But Egypt here is symbolic of a spiritually focused civilization. The passage speaks to a time when the spiritual wisdom and reverence embodied by ancient Egypt would be lost. Today it can be viewed as a critique of modern societies drifting away from holistic and spiritual understandings of the world. The warning is that profound knowledge and respect for the divine would disappear, replaced by hollow words and ritual, leading to a sense of disenchantment and dissatisfaction with life. It can also be paralleled with today's societal shift from spiritual or religious values to a more secular materialistic focus. The weary of life phrase could be seen as a prophecy of the existential crisis and disillusionment common in modern societies. As respect for the cosmos and spiritual values wane, individuals may feel a lack of purpose or connection, leading to disillusionment and discontent. So there is a sort of spiritual decay that leads not only to individual unhappiness, but also societal and ecological disorder. They will no longer love this world around us, this incomparable work of God, this glorious structure which He has built, this sum of good made up of many diverse forms, this instrument whereby the will of God operates in that which He has made, ungrudgingly favoring man's welfare. This combination and accumulation of all the many-fold things that call forth the veneration, praise, and love of the beholder. Darkness will be preferred to light, and death will be thought more profitable than life. No one will raise his eyes to the heaven. The pious will be deemed insane, the impious wise, the madman will be thought a brave man, and the wicked will be esteemed as good. As for the soul and the belief that it is immortal by nature or may hope to attain immortality, as I have taught you, all this they will mock and even persuade themselves that it is false. No word of reverence or piety, no utterance worthy of heaven will be heard or believed. And so, the gods will depart from mankind, a grievous thing. And only evil angels will remain, who will mingle with men and drive the poor wretches into all manner of reckless crime, into wars, robberies, frauds, and all things hostile to the nature of the soul. The idea of the soul, its immortality, or its possibility to attain immortality, as Hermes had taught, will be mocked. The words of reverence, the expressions of piety, the utterances worthy of heaven will be neither heard nor believed. The gods will depart from mankind, leaving only evil angels to mingle with men, driving them to commit reckless crimes, wars, robberies, frauds, everything hostile to the nature of the soul. Isn't it frightening that these passages seem to depict a society that has become disconnected from its spiritual roots in the natural world and succumbed to moral and ethical decay, a state of affairs that could be said to mirror certain aspects of our contemporary world? The description of people no longer loving this incomparable work of God could be interpreted as a critique of our current environmental crisis. We're witnessing a growing detachment from nature and the environment. Often placing industrial development and technological advancements above ecological preservation. This lack of reverence for the natural world has led to numerous environmental problems, such as climate change, deforestation, pollution, and the loss of biodiversity. And how about the passage, "Darkness will be preferred to light, and death will be thought more profitable than life"? This statement resonates perfectly with the prevalent sense of pessimism and despair that seems to permeate our societies today. Rates of depression and suicide have been rising in many parts of the world, a sign that for some, darkness has indeed become preferable to light. Then will the earth tremble, and the sea bear no ships. Heaven will not support the stars in their orbits. All voices of the gods will be forced into silence. The fruits of the earth will rot, the soil will turn barren, and the very air will sicken with sullen stagnation. All things will be disordered and awry, all good will disappear. These vivid descriptions, a trembling earth, a sea that bears no ships, the very air sickening with stagnation, aren't they pointing at the environmental degradation that we currently face? The phenomenon of rising global temperatures, ocean acidification, deforestation, and air pollution echo the Hermes lament, reminding us of the unprecedented damage that we're inflicting upon the planet. A damage that leads to biodiversity loss and possesses a potent threat to human health and survival because of the materialism and consumerism. Equally compelling is the lament's reference to the silencing of the gods, which might be seen to signify a perceived absence of spiritual and moral guidance. In a world grappling with ethical dilemmas, spawned by rapid scientific advancements, escalating political conflicts, and sweeping societal changes, this lack of moral compass is keenly felt. However, even in the midst of these dire prophecies, the lament of Hermes offers a glimmer of hope, promising divine intervention and a renewal of the world order. But when all this has fallen, Asclepius, then God, the creator of all things, will look on that which has come to pass and will stop the disorder by the counterforce of his will, which is the good. He will call back to the right path those who have gone astray. He will cleanse the world of evil, back to the right path those who have gone astray. He will cleanse the world of evil, washing it away with floods, burning it out with the fiercest fire, or expelling it with war and pestilence. And thus he will bring back his world to its former aspect, so that the cosmos will once more be deemed worthy of worship and wondering reverence. And God, the maker and maintainer of the mighty fabric, will be adored by the men of that day with continuous songs of praise and blessing. Such is the new birth of the cosmos. It is a making again of all things good, a holy and awe-inspiring restoration of all nature, and it is wrought inside the process of time by the eternal will of the Creator. As grim as it may sound, isn't this also a reminder that human resilience, innovation, and capacity for goodness are our most potent tools in bringing about a restoration? The promise that the cosmos will once again be deemed worthy of worship could be viewed as an echo of the growing appreciation of our interdependence with nature and the cosmos. This is increasingly evident in the global movement advocating for environmental justice, sustainable development, and spiritual growth and transformation. We don't know whether we're going to face some terrible global catastrophe, but if we look at the ancient texts, there isn't a single flood myth, there isn't a single story of the destruction of past civilizations that doesn't implicate humanity in the story. Interestingly, the described means of restoration, floods, fire, war, and pestilence reflect the very challenges that currently confront us. Climate change-induced natural disasters, wars, and global pandemics. These crises, while daunting, often serve as wake-up calls, prompting transformative changes and inspiring more sustainable, compassionate, and resilient societies. So, are we going to awaken? We've forgotten crucial aspects of our history, losing ourselves in the process. We're so lost and so troubled today, so haunted by a sense of something missing, something that we need to know about ourselves. But if we remember, this can be our salvation, bringing us back to the essential mystery of human existence, that we participate in this theater of life in an immense endeavor aimed at the perfection of the soul. We're not just a species with amnesia, we're also a species with potential. According to Graham Hancock, the problem with our world, as perceived by shamans of the Amazon, is that we've severed our connection with the spirit. Restoring that link is the first step towards progress. The crossroads we stand at now require us to effect changes on a micro level, to make changes in our own lives, in our immediate surroundings. We must make these changes for the better, driven by love, not these exterior trappings of power that have brought such horror and misery to the world. This is the moment of crossroads that we stand at. None of us can effect changes on a macro level. It's impossible to do so. But we can make changes on a micro level. We can make changes in our own lives. We can make changes in our immediate surroundings. Changes for the better, changes driven by love. The notion of global destruction may be overwhelming, but it doesn't stop us from seizing the harmful actions we personally contribute to. If we all act on this, a significant change in consciousness can occur, leading the world toward a brighter future. A future for our children and our children's children, where this beautiful jewel of a planet is once again revered and loved as it should be. We must not forget that we create the reality we live in.